The last days of December are unlike any other time in the year. A hidden energy stirs beneath the surface, subtle yet powerful, as if the universe itself is holding its breath. This is a period where reflection sharpens into clarity, and the smallest insights can ripple into life-altering transformations. In these final moments, doors of awareness open, revealing truths that often remain invisible until the very end. You are standing at a threshold. What appears ordinary is in fact a portal, a chance to realign with your deepest purpose. During these days, subtle signs and messages appear, whispered not to those who rush, but to those who are ready to pause and truly see. Many overlook them, yet they carry the power to change the path ahead in ways you cannot yet measure. In this video, you will uncover lessons from ancient Shaolin wisdom that guide the mind, body, and spirit through periods of transformation. You will learn how stillness becomes insight, how discipline shapes destiny, and how clarity emerges when you attune yourself to the hidden rhythms of life. Lesser-known truths about these final days will be revealed, insights that have guided monks and sages through centuries but remain unfamiliar to most. Stay with me until the end, because each moment we explore will deepen your understanding of how to navigate this extraordinary time. You will discover how to harness these days to cleanse old patterns, strengthen your spirit, and step closer to the life you are meant to lead. Welcome to Shaolin Divine Flow. Here we uncover the subtle forces that shape reality, and we learn to move with purpose and awareness. Subscribe now and join this journey of inner mastery, because the messages you receive in these final days could mark the beginning of something truly extraordinary. True wisdom often arrives in the spaces where sound fades and the mind finally rests. In the heart of stillness, the world becomes sharper and hidden currents of truth begin to flow clearly. Shaolin masters have long taught that silence is not emptiness. It is a mirror reflecting the workings of both the universe and the self. In the quiet, the mind sheds its endless chatter and the soul begins to listen. When you sit in stillness, even for a few breaths, patterns emerge that were invisible in the noise of daily life. Thoughts, feelings, and impulses reveal themselves, not to be judged, but to be understood. In this gentle observation, subtle warnings and messages often appear. They arrive as flickers of intuition, as impressions that pull at the corners of your awareness, guiding you toward choices that align with purpose rather than impulse. The Shaolin way is to cultivate this inner observance as a practice, not a momentary act. The body may sit in quiet, but the mind watches, like water reflecting the sky, calm, clear, and undisturbed. Even in chaos, the one who has trained in silence can see the currents beneath, sensing where the path is true and where it may lead to illusion. To create this space, begin by stepping away from distraction. Let thoughts arrive and pass without clinging. Let the rhythm of your breath anchor you in the present. In these moments, divine guidance becomes perceptible not as thunderous revelation, but as a steady, gentle pulse, a whisper that nudges the heart toward what is necessary. Those who honor this practice will notice that the final days of any year or any chapter of life carry messages that are often overlooked. The quiet reveals what noise conceals, and in the stillness, you discover the clarity that prepares you for what is to come. Look closely, for the reflection you see is more than your face. It is the mirror of your life. Shaolin practice teaches that mastery begins within, not over others or circumstances. True power arises when the mind is disciplined, the heart aligned, and the body follows with intention. External control is fleeting, but self-mastery is enduring. It shapes destiny with quiet, deliberate force. As the year draws to a close, the mirror becomes clearer. Thoughts, words, and actions from the months past appear without disguise. Every habit, every choice leaves a trace, and the final days offer a unique opportunity to examine these patterns before they harden into the next cycle. Reflection is not judgment. It is awareness, a gentle but unwavering observation of where the mind has wandered, where impulses were left unchecked, and where attention was surrendered to distraction. In this quiet appraisal, the mind learns its role as the guardian of destiny. Shaolin teachings remind us that discipline is not harshness but clarity. It allows the self to recognize what must change. Perhaps there are grudges carried too long, or dreams neglected, or repeated behaviors that undermine growth. These final days serve as a natural checkpoint, revealing the threads that require repair before the new year begins. By facing the reflection with honesty, the mind gains insight. By acknowledging responsibility for every thought and action, the spirit finds freedom. It is in this act of internal alignment that one begins to shape the coming year with intention rather than habit. The mirror shows not only what has been but what can be, if the observer is willing to correct, to guide, and to strengthen the self from within. In this way, accountability becomes the path to mastery, and mastery becomes the gateway to a life lived with purpose. Every thought carries a seed, and every intention shapes the energy that flows through life. When intention is declared with clarity, it becomes more than a wish. It becomes a force that aligns mind, body, and spirit with purpose. Shaolin practice teaches that focus is not merely concentration on the surface of life, but a deep channeling of energy toward what truly matters. The act of directing attention consciously transforms ordinary moments into opportunities for growth and insight. Mindfulness is often misunderstood as simply being present, yet true mindfulness reaches further. It is the deliberate shaping of awareness, the gentle steering of the mind so that each action reflects the inner purpose. When the mind is disciplined to focus on what matters, distractions lose their grip and subtle guidance begins to appear. Patterns previously unnoticed now reveal themselves, and decisions come with a clarity that feels almost instinctual. Spiritual teachings remind us that guidance flows naturally to those whose intentions are pure. When the heart is aligned and the mind is steady, divine insight can move through life unobstructed. In these moments, the energy around and within responds to clarity, drawing circumstances, people, and opportunities into harmony with the purpose declared. This is not coincidence. It is the natural law of energy responding to conscious direction. The power of intention is magnified in times of transition, like the final days of December. Each moment offers a chance to set intentions that are free from distraction, doubt, or hidden desire. When focus and intention merge, action follows effortlessly and the path forward becomes illuminated. In this practice, discipline is not a burden but a guiding light. Through repeated alignment, the inner compass sharpens, the mind steadies, and life begins to move in synchrony with the highest vision. In this way, intention becomes the bridge between thought and reality, and focus becomes the key to walking that bridge with purpose. Beneath the surface of every moment lies a reality often unseen, a truth concealed by appearances and the noise of the world. Shaolin philosophy teaches that true strength is not measured by force alone, but by the ability to perceive what lies beneath illusion. The eyes may see, but the mind must discern. The heart must recognize what is genuine amidst the distractions and deceptions that surround daily life. In the final days of any cycle, this hidden layer of reality becomes more apparent. Patterns long unnoticed emerge, choices once ignored reveal their consequences, and subtle signs point toward paths that had been invisible. Divine insight works quietly, illuminating what is obscured, not as punishment but as guidance. It calls for vigilance, inviting those who are willing to look beyond surface appearances to awaken to the deeper currents shaping their lives. Awakening to hidden truths requires patience and presence. It is a practice of observing without haste, of listening to what is whispered in silence rather than shouted in chaos. Every emotion, every reaction, every subtle nudge in the mind can carry a message. Shaolin masters understand that the strength to navigate life comes from recognizing these layers, from discerning reality beneath the veil of illusion, and from responding with clarity rather than impulse. This process is not always comfortable. It may reveal truths about the self, about others, or about circumstances that challenge long-held assumptions. Yet it is precisely in this discomfort that growth occurs. Those who remain open, attentive, and disciplined in their inner observation will find that revelations appear in unexpected ways, guiding decisions, illuminating purpose, and aligning the spirit with its highest potential. The hidden truths are always present, waiting for eyes and hearts ready to see. In learning to perceive them, mastery of the self and of life itself begins to take root. Discipline is often misunderstood as confinement, yet in its truest form, it is the path to freedom. Shaolin masters have long taught that the mind and soul are liberated not by indulgence but by structure, by the deliberate shaping of habits and actions. When the mind is trained through repeated mindful practice, it becomes strong, flexible, and resilient, capable of navigating uncertainty without fear or distraction. Discipline is the bridge that carries the spirit from confusion to clarity, from inertia to purposeful action. Each day offers small opportunities to practice this mastery. Simple routines, repeated with attention, build layers of inner strength that remain long after the world's chaos has faded. Breath, posture, movement, thought, they are all vessels through which discipline flows. In these practices, the mind learns to wait, to observe, and to act with precision. The body and spirit begin to align, creating a harmony that feels like freedom because it is grounded in awareness rather than scattered by impulse. The final days of December carry a unique energy, a quiet test of commitment. Patterns that have been neglected are revealed, and the choice to act with intention becomes clearer. These moments call for patience, presence, and courage. To meet them with discipline is to prove readiness, not for outward recognition, but for inner transformation. Every decision to remain focused, every act of restraint strengthens the ability to step into the new cycle with clarity and power. Through this lens, freedom is not the absence of rules, but the mastery of oneself. Discipline shapes the mind into a vessel capable of receiving insight, the body into an instrument of purpose, and the spirit into a force aligned with truth. In embracing discipline now, the soul practices liberation, discovering that the structures built from mindful effort are the very keys to a life lived fully, deeply, and freely. In the midst of chaos, the mind often races, swept by waves of emotion that seem impossible to contain. Shaolin wisdom teaches that the measure of strength is not in reacting, but in observing, watching emotions rise and fall without allowing them to dictate action. Anger, fear, and impatience are not enemies. They are signals, messages from within, waiting to be understood. When the heart remains steady, even in turmoil, the truth hidden beneath the surface begins to emerge. Life has a way of masking guidance within confusion. Divine messages rarely arrive wrapped in calm and certainty. They often appear amid distraction, difficulty, or tension. Only a mind that has learned stillness can perceive them. When the body is restless or the heart unsettled, clarity slips away, replaced by instinctive reactions that may lead astray. Calmness is not passivity, it is vigilance, a state of presence that allows the subtleties of life to speak clearly. To cultivate this steadiness, simple practices can transform perception. The breath becomes an anchor, drawing attention inward and slowing the mind's constant chatter. Awareness of the body and its sensations grounds the spirit, reminding it of the present moment rather than fears of the past or anxieties of the future. With consistent mindfulness, the mind learns to meet turbulence with equanimity, observing without surrendering, listening without distraction. The final days of any cycle amplify challenges, revealing patterns of thought and emotion that have been neglected. In these moments, calmness is both shield and guide. It allows the spirit to navigate uncertainty with wisdom rather than haste, to hear messages that might otherwise be drowned by noise. Mastery of self is measured not by the absence of storms, but by the ability to remain centered within them, finding clarity, guidance, and strength where others see only chaos. Every action carries a weight, often far beyond what the eyes can see. Shaolin wisdom teaches that the world responds to the energy we release, and that cause and effect is not a distant concept, it is the rhythm of life itself. A single thought, a moment of patience, or an act of discipline sends ripples through time, influencing circumstances, relationships, and even the subtle currents of destiny. Nothing occurs in isolation. Each choice sets in motion consequences that unfold in ways both visible and hidden. Spiritual responsibility arises from this understanding. Life is not a series of random events, but a reflection of the intentions and actions we cultivate daily. Small decisions, how we speak, how we act, how we treat ourselves and others, compound over time, shaping outcomes far larger than we anticipate. Awareness of this principle transforms ordinary life into a practice of mindfulness, where each moment becomes an opportunity to align with purpose rather than drift into inertia. The final days of December carry a unique intensity. The actions and intentions we set now are magnified, their effects carrying into the new year with greater force. Patterns that have been ignored, habits that have gone unchecked, or energy that has been scattered are exposed. It is a time to plant seeds consciously, choosing with care the thoughts, words, and deeds that will guide the months ahead. Discipline and mindfulness serve as tools to navigate this truth. Observing choices without haste, responding with clarity rather than impulse, and grounding actions in intention ensures that the path forward is shaped consciously. In these final days, mastery is measured not by grand gestures, but by the subtle, deliberate cultivation of actions that honor life's natural law. What is sown now will determine the harvest to come, and those who act with awareness step into the new cycle with purpose, strength, and clarity. Each life carries a unique imprint, a calling that resonates quietly within the heart. Shaolin teachings remind us that the purpose of a life well lived is not discovered in haste or noise, but in careful observation of what stirs the spirit most deeply. Those who follow this inner compass find their actions naturally aligned, flowing in harmony with the unseen currents of the universe. When purpose guides thought and movement, even ordinary moments take on a profound significance. Walking the path of the chosen requires attentiveness. Distractions are many, fears, desires, and habits that pull the mind away from what truly matters. Yet the path is always present, waiting for those who are willing to pause, reflect, and evaluate their direction. Each choice becomes a measure. Does it move closer to the calling within or further from it? Shaolin philosophy emphasizes that alignment is cultivated through daily practice, discipline, and conscious attention. Purpose is not an abstract idea. It is embodied in the rhythm of life, in each action, each intention made with clarity and care. The final days of December offer a unique mirror. As the year draws to a close, it becomes clearer where alignment has been strong and where distraction has taken hold. Patterns of thought and behavior emerge, revealing whether energy has been invested in the calling of the heart or dissipated on fleeting pursuits. This awareness is not a source of judgment, but an opportunity to course correct before entering a new cycle. By choosing actions that reflect true purpose, the mind grows steady, the heart grows open, and life begins to move with effortless harmony. Alignment transforms ordinary existence into a living practice of mastery. Those who heed the inner call, even amidst uncertainty, step onto a path that resonates with the highest potential, shaping a life of depth, clarity, and meaningful presence in every moment. Faith is often misunderstood as passive belief, yet in its truest form, it is an inner compass, a quiet trust in the unfolding of life and the timing of the universe. Shaolin wisdom teaches that the mind attuned to discipline, awareness, and presence can perceive this guidance, not as an abstract idea, but as a living force that shapes thought, choice, and action. Faith becomes a practice, a steady orientation of the spirit toward what is unfolding, even when the path is not yet clear. Divine messages rarely arrive in ways that demand attention. They appear subtly in moments when readiness meets action. A heart prepared by reflection, a mind sharpened by discipline, and a body grounded in presence are capable of recognizing these signs. Without such preparation, even the clearest message may pass unnoticed, like a whisper lost in the wind. This is why mastery of self, through mindful observation, measured action, and persistent attention, is essential. The rhythm of faith is cultivated daily. Simple acts of awareness, disciplined routines, and mindful decisions train the mind to notice the patterns that signal alignment with purpose. Each breath, each moment of stillness, strengthens the ability to sense the subtle guidance that flows through life. Shaolin practice emphasizes that the power of faith, lies not in waiting, but in moving in harmony with these currents, responding, listening, and acting with clarity. In the final days of December, this inner compass becomes especially vital. Choices and intentions set now carry amplified significance, and the ability to discern guidance shapes the energy of the coming year. Faith, rooted in readiness and nurtured by practice, transforms uncertainty into direction. It allows the spirit to navigate life with trust, clarity, and courage, revealing that true guidance is always present, awaiting the one who has cultivated the awareness to see and the discipline to follow. True mastery is not born in a single moment of insight, but in the quiet accumulation of mindful choices over time. Shaolin wisdom emphasizes that the path of self-mastery is woven through daily practice, through the small, deliberate actions that shape both mind and spirit. Each act of reflection, each moment of presence builds momentum like drops of water gradually carving a river through stone. Journaling becomes more than a record of events. It is a mirror for the mind, revealing patterns, thoughts, and impulses that might otherwise go unnoticed. Meditation is not an escape, but a method of grounding, of observing the flow of consciousness and returning the mind to stillness. Even the simplest acts, breathing with awareness, moving with intention, speaking with clarity, become exercises in discipline and alignment when performed mindfully. The final days of December amplify the effects of these practices. Habits, choices, and reflections set now resonate into the new cycle, shaping energy, perspective, and opportunity. Mastery is cumulative. It grows quietly, imperceptibly, until the results emerge in clarity, resilience, and purpose. Each moment of consistency strengthens the mind. Each patient effort sharpens awareness, and each compassionate reflection nurtures the spirit. Transformation is not achieved through haste or judgment. Self-compassion allows the mind to observe mistakes without attachment, to course correct without discouragement, and to continue the practice with renewed clarity. Patience sustains the effort, reminding the practitioner that meaningful change is gradual, and consistency ensures that insights do not fade but deepen into wisdom. Through these practices, the ordinary becomes sacred. The mind, heart, and body align in daily rituals that nurture insight, discipline, and presence. Each mindful choice carries energy forward, guiding life with purpose and quiet strength. In integrating reflection, meditation, and intentional action into daily life, mastery becomes not a distant goal, but a lived reality, quietly shaping the path ahead. As the final days of December unfold, they arrive not by chance, but as a quiet invitation, an opportunity to awaken, to reflect, and to align with the deeper currents of life. This is a time to pause, to observe, and to turn attention inward, uncovering the subtle guidance that has been present all along. In stillness, the mind finds clarity. Through intention, the spirit directs energy toward purpose. With discipline, the heart gains strength. Emotional mastery steadies the soul, and faith becomes an inner compass guiding every step. These principles are not abstract. They are tools for daily life, practices that, when embraced consistently, shape the path ahead and reveal the messages and blessings that have been waiting to appear. Personal mastery and spiritual awareness allow life to move in harmony with divine guidance, transforming challenges into insight and uncertainty into direction. Take these days to act with intention, to observe without judgment, and to cultivate the habits that carry wisdom, resilience, and clarity into the new year. Each mindful choice, each quiet reflection is a step toward alignment, a bridge connecting present actions to future possibilities. May this period bring calm, insight, and purpose into your life, illuminating the path ahead with subtle but powerful guidance. Thank you for joining this journey of inner mastery. If you feel called to continue exploring the flow of wisdom and strength, subscribe to our channel Shaolin Divine Flow and walk with us as we learn to live with clarity, presence, and purpose.